Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2019 mid-month reading. So we're looking at the last half of March from the 15th to the 31st. Welcome to everyone who is with us here today. Welcome to any newcomers, and welcome back to any returning people, followers, subscribers, and thank you, always thank you for those of you who follow this channel and take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments. Thank you to my clients, always my clients, regular and new clients, for keeping me so continuously busy with personal one-on-one readings. Joyfully busy, I might add. Always an honor and a pleasure to read for you all. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading, as most of you who follow me know, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description link below or the description bar attached to any of the videos I post. And you can also go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little about button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. I can usually respond to your initial request with more info the same day or the first 24 hours. And scheduling's pretty good too. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is the sum total of what I do. So I work pretty diligently with both your schedule and mine to schedule readings in as timely a fashion as possible. I do a lot of different types of readings in all the main areas of life of different types and lengths and costs. So if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. All right, let's move right into this reading. This reading is for the fire sign of Sagittarius for March 15th through the 31st of 2019. As a lot of you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching. So if you know your rising and moon sign, watch those as well. Can give you more pictures of the puzzle, or sometimes be a little more predictive for you. All right, Sagittarius, let's see what's in store for you for the last half of March. All right, Sag, we begin with the Page of Wands, followed by the Eight of Swords. Next to that, we have the Four of Swords, followed by the King of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, for overall energy and focus, we have the Hierophant. Sagittarius, I feel like you may be in what for some of you may manifest as a bit of a power struggle here in the last half of March with a specific person. For some of you, this is going to be represented by the King of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or somebody who shows up as the King of Cups, manifests like the King of Cups. And the Hierophant, which is overall energy, which is convention, tradition, you know, cultural values. The Hierophant is overall energy, can represent convention, tradition, walking the prescribed path, walking a path that, you know, many people before you have walked, the tried and true, so to speak. It can represent large organizations, established places, institutions, organized religions, doing the same thing that many other people before you have done for, you know, a variety of reasons, traditions, cultures, ethics, religious sorts of things, doing the expected thing in the expected order that most people follow in terms of convention. This can also represent for some of you an actual person who may be coming across this way. It could be, I mean, it is represented as a religious person or symbolized as a religious person. I mean, for some of you, it could be a religious person, a priest or a mentor of some kind, a teacher, professor. It could be an older family relative. I am getting a pretty much male energy over who this person you might not be agreeing with is. For some of you, I feel like it may be a father or a father figure or somebody like that. It could be even a boss or something of that sort. So we have the Page of Wands. That's the overall energy of the situation for the last half of March. So we have the Page of Wands with the Eight of Swords. Page of Wands is fire energy. That's the element which governs the suit of Wands. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel like this is coming up for the majority of you Sagittarius, regardless of your age, regardless of your chronological age. Pages usually represent, it's a young, youthful energy, and this is a very fiery energy because it's the Page of Wands, who's very eager and enthusiastic. It represents being at the perhaps introductory phase of something with a fresh, clean slate and momentum in your favor. The Page of Wands, because it is that young, youthful energy, he has a bit of pride too, and sometimes this can work out for him in terms of exciting fulfillment of something he's just starting off of, or it can end in total disaster because his pride can sometimes blind him to seeing what the big picture is, because he doesn't have a lot of life experience yet. Not to say that you haven't, but I feel like for a lot of you, regardless of your actual age, I feel like this other person or situation is making you feel like the Page of Wands, like making you feel like you can't quite break away from something or break out of something or come to an agreement with this person on something, because the Page of Wands is clarified by the Eight of Swords, which is a card about feeling perhaps rather helpless, controlled, dominated, a victim even, feeling like you can't remove yourself from a situation because you don't have the choice to. But it's somewhat illusionary energy. Swords is air energy. That's the element which governs this suit. And this is energy of the mind, mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. Our thoughts, our ideas, our belief systems, our ideologies, which affect how we see things and how we communicate our words and our ideas to the world and people in the world. Very mental energy. It's all about what goes on up in here and about how we communicate what goes on up in here too, externally. You do have another sword card here too, Four of Swords. And, you know, when the Page of Wands comes up in a spread, particularly a smaller spread, the majority of the energy you have around the Page of Wands is sword energy. So what I would caution you for the last half of March is be careful about your how you communicate too, because sometimes when the Page of Wands shows up with all this air energy around, the challenge can be, one, you feel like perhaps somebody's trying to put you in your place or make you feel smaller or less than or younger or treating you like a child. And your form of communication, because the Page of Wands in that energy can be a bit prideful, sometimes can be a little careless or thoughtless with communication because of emotions and maybe anger or temper or something like that. So kind of be cautious with your communication over the last half of March, because I feel like a lot of you are having this sort of, I don't know if it's power and control issues or trying to come to an agreement with somebody. It could be something like feeling maybe out of place because the Page of Wands is trying to, it feels like this King of Cups person or this Hierophant energy, like you're at odds with it, or you feel bound by perhaps tradition or culture, or that you can't remove yourself from this because, you know, whatever reasons we tell ourselves to keep ourselves in this energy that keeps us in this energy. You know, I can't leave this situation, or I can't leave this job, or I can't leave this person because I won't be able to find another job that pays this well, or I won't be able to get another thing, or I won't be able to whatever. I'm trapped here, I can't get out, so I just have to stay and make the best of it. Or, you know, I can't leave this person because I'm obligated, or, you know, we share this together or whatever. It's a somewhat illusionary energy too, because this is energy of the mind. And we don't always see things in a realistic way, particularly when we're in the energy of the Page of Wands, who may have a tendency when he gets angry or prideful or feels like somebody's trying to put him in his place, may react rather more strongly than is necessary because something's been pricked inside of us, you know. The only thing actually keeping this woman trapped in this situation is her idea that she can't free herself. The gaps between the swords are plenty wide enough for her to walk through and away from the situation. Not to say that it doesn't have consequences. Every choice we make comes with a price. But she could easily walk through any of these swords. She's on her knees, but nobody has forced her down there and nobody is holding her there. She has chains wrapped around her wrists, but again, they're not attached to anything or anyone. She could easily twist her wrist. These chains would fall off. She could stand up on her own 2 feet, remove the blindfold, see the reality of the situation for what it is, that she can leave. She does have a choice, or he have a choice. This is a card that sometimes comes up when your mind is your own worst enemy. You think you're trapped in a situation, you know, for, again, whatever, you know, reason you give yourself that you can't leave, or you can't remove yourself, or you can't make changes. Because fill in the blank, whether it's a job or a relationship, because it feels like for a lot of you, whether this is a relationship or a job or a church or even spiritual path, it feels like you feel kind of trapped in there, maybe because, for example, you have to marry a certain person, or you have to stay within the same religion, or you have to stay in this job because that's the smart thing to do, or it's what everybody before you does, or it's what your family wants you to do, or it's what society wants you to do, etc. You know, this convention and tradition, which can be quite positive, because the payoff for the Hierophant is getting to have the shelter of a big umbrella that a lot of people are also standing underneath. But sometimes in order to have that, there's a certain sacrifice of individuality and self-expression, which the Page of Wands is all about, and may feel rather restricted and constricted because of this energy, but still feeling trapped within it, maybe because you feel like you have to for financial reasons or for family reasons, or that you feel obligated to. So next to that, we have the Four of Swords and the King of Cups. So the Four of Swords usually comes out when somebody's feeling tired, maybe worn out, exhausted, needing to take a step back, needing to recuperate, recover, maybe think and get a little bit of a different perspective, or seek out some guidance and advice. You can see that the soldier, I mean, what do soldiers do? What do knights do? They fight. They fight battles. They go off on missions and quests. That's what they're meant to do. He's taken off his helmet and his hand gauntlets, which implies that he's not quite done yet. He's just taking a break from something, which is represented by the swords, which are still pointed down at him, although they're still kind of there, and his own sword is lying close by his hand should he need it. But for the time being, he's taken a step back because he needs to recuperate, to recoup, to recover, to get some rest, to take care of himself, and maybe get a bit of a different perspective and think about it. And this is sitting right next to the Page of Wands. So I feel like this is how a lot of you are feeling, you know, that, and I think the advice is to take a step back and get a different perspective. And again, because there's a lot of swords energies around you, you're going to want to be careful about how you communicate over the last half of March, because the Page of Wands, regardless of age, we all have these days where we just like, we react very strongly, you know, and passionately with that fire energy. But sometimes we can say things that are unnecessary and can make a difficult situation even worse. So just be careful of that. That Four of Swords is accompanied by the King of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Now, for those of you who are dealing with a specific person who is in some position over you, because we have the Hierophant and the King of Cups, and you're showing up as the Page of Wands, regardless of what situation it is, it could be a boss that's over you. I do feel a distinctive masculine energy, although for some of you it could be female. I mean, general readings, thousands of you watching, so it's going to resonate a little differently. The King of Cups is, you know, he's sometimes been referred to as the King of Cool, because kings and queens represent individuals who've reached the top of their suit, meaning that they've reached a point of self-mastery and control over the character traits which are inherent to their suit. So this is water energy, because water is the element which governs the suit of cups. This is emotional energy in the tarot. Our emotions, our feelings, relationships as well. Those mercurial things that go up and down. But this King of Cups has matured, grown, and evolved beyond the page energy, beyond the knight, that spontaneous energy of the knights. And he's reached a point where he's able to have mastery over his emotions. He's a loving, supportive, nurturing individual. but he doesn't allow his emotions to get the better of him, and he's often portrayed as sitting in the middle of a body of water, which is all choppy around him, but he's cool, calm, and collected. When everybody else is kind of freaking out, he's not. So this is about being in control of your emotions, which I feel for some of you who are in this kind of stalemate with somebody else. It could be this King of Cups person too, but also on an energetic level, this means manifesting the energy of the King of Cups. So kind of being careful with your emotions, not devoid of emotions, but being restrained and very grown up and mature about your emotions, which the Page of Wands, especially when his ego or his pride or his anger is pricked or he feels constrained, may go too far to the other end of the spectrum in trying to free himself. And it looks like you're being advised to maybe take a step back, particularly around the last week of March. Maybe take a step back, take a break from this, think about it, get some different perspectives, maybe even seek out some advice or guidance from a trusted friend or mentor or something of that sort. Be careful with your communication, be careful of your emotions and how you express them, and I think more will be revealed. Not a bad reading, but it looks like the challenge is with perhaps somebody, you know, it could be with somebody who's very stuck in their ways, or for an institution which runs a certain way and you want to do things differently, or you have something that you want to do. They're like, that's not the way we do this, or I don't think that's a good idea, or whatever. I feel like this is something that's going to continue to play out, as most 2-week energies kind of do. You're not trapped, number one, but be careful that in any emotionally heavy emotional or being emotionally sensitive, that you don't just rush spontaneously into doing something that you may later regret, which is the Page of Wands energy. So maybe take a step back, particularly during the last week of March, to kind of reflect, maybe get some advice, and get a little bit of extra rest too as well, Sagittarius. So that pretty much wraps up your March 2019 mid-month readings from the 15th to the 31st. I hope that you found it helpful and useful. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. You can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description link below, or going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button. I do love and romance, of course, compatibility readings, reconciliation potentials, career, work, and finance readings, investment readings, gift readings, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So a few things to choose from. And you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. And there's a few different options there as well, but it's really great for quick answers to the quick, easy questions. So a few different things for you to choose from if you are interested. So I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the April 2019 general readings. Until then, Sagittarius, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.